Hello, everybody. It's Dr. Rick dropping in on you. Hope everybody is having an unbelievable day. Hope you've had a great start to your week. Get focused, set goals, be intentful, be deliberate, work your plan. And as you work your plan, you'll find out your plan isn't perfect no matter how much energy, time, and effort you put into it. Make your adjustments. Whatever you do, don't quit. Whatever you do, don't lay down, don't retreat, don't turn back. This is not about knowing everything. It's about not about winning every battle. It's about resilience. It's about being relentless. It's about not giving up. Remember, if you're still breathing, you're still in the fight. If you're still in the fight, you have a chance to win. That's what you're standing up every day. You're going out there and doing. My success hasn't been because I knew all the answers, because I had all the things lined up. It was because when I got knocked down, I got back up. I squared my shoulders, held my head up, and kept pressing forward. At over time, those progressions added up to goals reached, and the goals reached added up to visions attained and dreams fulfilled. And I'm still going, and I want to help as many people as possible. So I want to talk to you today about your thoughts. But before I get into your thoughts, I want to point you to the description box real fast. There are a couple of things in there. I got three powerful things. We have our Crushing Limiting Beliefs course, which is going online on September the 1st, along with all of our other courses. It was original. It's going to be valued at over 1,000 online. We are now offering it for a limited time for $27. There's a reason for that. You better jump on it. It ends this week. Rapid Change Breakthrough Session. For those of you who have always said, man, I wouldn't mind working with him, but here's an opportunity to do it. I have a rapid change breakthrough session. It's one session. You get to sit down and find out what it's all about and walk away with a win. I promise you, when you walk away, you won't be the same person that came in, and you will have something that you can work with that will help the process of changing your trajectory in your life. Yes, one session. It is intense, but I promise you that you will get results. That has been cut in half from 350 to 175. And finally, the big one, uh, the Transform Your Life course bundle. Again, all of our courses are going online, so we are doing all kind of promos. Well, it's not we, it's me, uh, going against the grain actually, and just doing all kind of promos because I want people who would not necessarily be able to afford those courses online to have a chance to get at them. And one of the reasons we're going online, so you just understand what's happening, is intellectual theft. Basically, my intellectual property, my thing I created. When you're doing it digitally and you can email it to somebody, they can email it to somebody. So they pay for it once and then it ends up out there. And you'll look online and PDFs of your course are out there online. People are using them to get clients and leads and everything else. And so one of the ways that you protect that intellectual property is put it online, make a person create an account where they come in, they create a password and a username. They're able to take it, but they can only use a certain amount of devices to complete the course. Right now, we have them set at two devices. You can do it on a laptop, you can do it on a desktop, and it has to be the same laptop and desktop. That stops uh, the the theft of intellectual property, and it's going to make it a lot easier for me to move and do what I'm doing as we expand. But anyway, with these courses, you're going to get Breaking the Curse of Procrastination, Crushing Limited Beliefs, which is one of the courses offered in there, Healing Emotional and Psychological Trauma, and the bonus, The Power of Purpose. All four of those are courses that at one time or another have been valued at over $1,000, and the entire package is only $495. You get that. You get video lectures. You get course modules. I mean, tons of course modules. And you get a follow-up session with yours truly. That link is in there. So now let me get to why I'm here. You got to pay the bills. You know, never let anybody, when you decide to become an entrepreneur, or if you're an entrepreneur, never let anyone shame you into not promoting. Hello, Tamika. Hello, Kim. Uh, Never let anyone shame you into not promoting your business as if it's something wrong with it. They will sit there and watch their favorite TV show and watch 5 McDonald's commercials and never blink. So the only way that people know what you have is if you tell them. The only way people know how you can help them is if you tell them. You're in business to make money. So the idea of selling your product should not be something that you're ashamed of or that you have to retreat to. The fact that after I put that out there, I'm about to give you 10, 15 minutes, however long, of free information that can change your life makes being here worth it. And so you just have to make sure that you do it in a way that you offer value. I offer value with every video. Whether you buy or not, you get blessed. That's just how I move. So let's talk. I just had a conversation with someone I respect a whole lot about the power of words. There's this notion, you grew up hearing sticks and stones break your bones, words never hurt you. Actually, I'd rather get hit with a stick than have the wrong words hurled at me at the wrong time. Words are extremely powerful. Proverbs tells us that life and death is in the power of the tongue. And so then we have to understand that, but also connected to that are the thoughts, because in Matthew, we find out that out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. What is the heart? When we're talking in these terms, we're not talking about the physiological heart. We're talking about the heart, the center of the soul. We're talking about the subconscious. So out of the subconscious, out of the deepest recesses of who you are, the mouth speaks. Whatever you have in there is coming out. So then we still go back to the thoughts. And like in my book, I tell you that your thoughts are the seeds of your destiny. What you think and what you give consistent attention to will manifest itself in your life. You are literally living out the birthing of what your thoughts created. Whatever you give to consistently, whatever has the greatest bearing of your weight, you're going to spend the most time thinking about. You're going to spend the most time producing. You got to be careful. That's why they'll tell you, if it's something you don't want, don't focus on it, because you'll actually manifest it. If it's something you do want, that's what you focus on. By focusing on what you do want, you automatically distance what you don't want, because it's in diametric opposition to what you're thinking. And so what you do is you think and you manifest, because when you manifest, after you think, if you think something enough, it may start out not even being real. But here's the beautiful thing of how God designed our minds and our brains, that our minds do not have the capacity to distinguish between what's being imagined and what's real. So when you can create a vivid imagination, and if you think I'm lying, sit down in a quiet space right now and think of the happiest time you ever had in your life, the most joyous experience you can ever remember. Sit down and think of it and start to visualize it as if you were still there, and watch the emotion start to come up. The emotion is a natural response to what you're experiencing. The brain can't tell, the brain and the mind can't tell the difference. That's how you manifest. That's how you create, because whatever you focus on in vision, that's why vision boards work so well. It's because the subconscious sees it even when you're not looking at it directly. The subconscious picks up everything. The conscious mind is what you focus on. The subconscious mind processes everything. The conscious mind processes 2,000 bits of information per second versus 4 billion bits of information per second by the subconscious mind. Very, very powerful. It controls 96% of your behavior. And so therefore, what you're thinking needs to be in alignment with that. So it's not just what you're thinking on the surface, it's what you're thinking. Well, how do I control subconscious thoughts? By what you feed your subconscious. Your subconscious is simply function on what you give it. And the beautiful thing about the subconscious has this ability to distinguish what you give priority to. There's this thing called the reticular activating system. It is a little nerve, a bundle of nerves at the base of your brain that literally filters information as it goes into the brain, and it determines what you are focusing on most, what are you giving attention to most, what you believe the most, and it isolates and amplifies that, and it produces it. And I'll give you a prime example. If you ever went out and bought a car, a shirt, or something that you really liked, and before you bought it, you hadn't noticed it in that color you hadn't seen that many people with it, or you may not have seen anybody with it, and all of a sudden you come out, and then everywhere you look, there's your shirt. Well, the shirt has always been there, but until you told your brain through the reticular activating system that that was an important thing by actually spending money on it, and the brain is calculating this at microseconds, that if I spend money on it, it's important. You don't have to tell your brain, well, I'm spending money on this, so this is important. Go file it over. It's done it already. Before you even pay, it's done. Now what happens is the reticular activator system gives a priority to it, and now all of a sudden you see it everywhere. It's always been there, That car has always been out there. That shirt has been out there. You weren't the first person to buy it. Nobody, you didn't buy it and everybody saw it and said, man, I'm going to get what he got. It was already out there. What she's got or whatever. So in essence, how you focus. So what do? There's so many different ways that you have the ability to control what you take in at different intervals during the day, what you read, what you don't read, what you listen to in music, what you don't listen to in music, who you speak to on the phone, who you have in your circle. All of these people are going to be feeding through your gate of your mind, by way of eyes and ears predominantly. And they are going to be, whatever these things are, contributors to how you think and feel and believe. That's what crushing limiting beliefs courses are really about. Is about going back and looking at all these things that you've allowed to come into your mind that have placed these limitations on what you think is possible, on what you feel is doing. And you're sitting back and you're balking on opportunities. You're passing opportunities to do something exceptional. You're passing up opportunities to do something extraordinary. You're passing up opportunities to make your presence felt in the world because of these limiting beliefs, where they came from something. They came from somebody speaking, you hearing, you watching somebody fail or somebody not do what they said they could do or what they thought they can do, and you immediately took that as it's impossible, or people from where I'm from can't do it, people from my race can't do it, people from my gender can't do it, people who come from my socioeconomic background can't do it, whatever it is that says that has that, now you don't think it's possible. So guess what? Nobody goes out and invests massive effort and energy into something they don't believe is possible. Even when somebody says, try this, I'm telling you, I had it worked for me, blah, blah. They may even try it just for the sake of not having to say they didn't. So when the person comes back around and say, hey, did you try that? They're going to say, yeah, but what they're not going to say is, I barely got out there. I barely put anything to it. I didn't stick with it. I wasn't consistent. I just got out there. Well, here's the thing. This is how the mind works. And this is how we end up in cycles of ineptitude and non-productivity. Is you have this idea, this belief, you are never going to receive anything in this world but beyond what you expect. Your faith sets the expectation. Your faith, your belief about what you can do, what you can receive, what you can have, what you can accomplish is your faith threshold. It's that point where everything you get will be underneath that threshold. You will never consistently have something over the threshold. You have to believe it's possible. Even something that isn't within the veins of something that you actually created through something you knew, like you built it, you still have to believe it. You go out and win the lottery. You had to believe when you bought that ticket that there was at least some chance that you could win the lottery. You wouldn't even bought the ticket, which didn't take a whole lot of energy and effort. But if someone said, there's no way you're going to win that lottery, you're not going out and buying that ticket, no matter how cheap it is. But if you feel there's a chance, you might gamble on it. However, most of the things you get in life, you're not going to get by way of lotto. You're going to have to go out and actually invest some energy, effort, time, and consistency. And here's the problem. If I have a limiting belief that says I can't do something, even if I go out there to do it, I'm going to barely put energy and effort in it. Here's the problem. When I go out and I put energy and effort in something, I get the results based off of the energy, effort, and consistency that I put into something. So if I go out and I only put a little energy and effort, my results are what? The results of the little energy and effort. They're not going to be great. They're probably going to be mediocre or abysmal. And what happens? Now those results reinforce the belief I had. Now I'm looking at those results. See, I told you that wouldn't work. So what happens now? I don't even try. I try less hard, or I put less energy, effort in next time. And then eventually I don't even try anymore. But what happens if you go out and you put energy, effort, and time and energy into it? Even if it doesn't turn out the way you thought, you see something change. You say, man, I should have did this different. And you get excited about it. And you go out and you put more energy, effort, and time and resilience in it. And you start to see, man, I moved it an inch. I moved it an inch. I moved it a foot. And then it's on. It's that step. I tell my clients all the time, you got to take the step. You can't sit behind the shadow of comfort and think you're going to get exceptional, phenomenal, extraordinary, remarkable, all those adjectives that make up this thing that you get excited about. You are never going to get that sitting and hiding behind comfort, hiding behind fear, hiding behind trepidation that's associated with the possibility of pain, of failure. Let me tell you something. Failure is a part of the process. Failure is a part of the equation. Failure is not a bad thing. Failure is the way that you move progressively towards something. Nobody gets it right every time. Nobody knocks the ball out the park every time. You talk about baseball. Someone who is considered an exceptional hitter in baseball is batting 300. If he's batting 300, that means he fails 7 out of 10 times. He only hits the ball 3 out of 10 times into play. But he's considered an exceptional. Why? Because the level of difficulty required to do it. But he's doing something at an exceptional level, but yet he's failing in the process of doing it. But we're not calling him a failure, are we? And you can look at anything in life. Nobody is knocking the ball out of the park every time. But what they're doing is they've gotten the consistency to know how hard they have to go in the paint in order to accomplish something within a certain sphere of time. I'm probably going to hit a couple of bumps and bruises here. I'm probably going to have some setbacks. I'm probably going to hit a cash flow issue here. I'm probably going to do all of that's a part of it. You don't just have things all fall in line. Don't let anybody tell you that. That's not how this works. Life, you can make any demand you want on life, and life will pay that demand. Life will pay any price you demand of it. But here's the problem. Life has this way of presenting counter demands. You say, I want to be wealthy. Life is going to say, okay, first thing is stay out of those stores. You don't need to be in the Galleria no more. You don't need to be on Rodeo and Melrose and Saks on Fifth Avenue and all up. And that's the thing that life is going to tell you. When you sit up and say, I want to be wealthy, life is going to say, you got to change how you think, how you look at money. Money can no longer be a means for you acquiring depreciative values, that items that depreciate in value. You're going to have to start looking at spending your money on things that appreciate in value. You're going to have to start looking at what assets and liabilities are. You're going to have to start understanding tax liability. You're going to have to start understanding how to use insurance as a wealth mechanism and a bunch of other things. It's going to start telling you, you're going to say, wow, I didn't know. But life is going to say, but if you do these things, I'm going to give you what you ask. Tell life, look, I want to be influential in my community. Life is going to say, well, you're going to have to stay out the club. You're going to have to stop chasing women. You're going to have to start doing this. You're going to have to do this. And then you're going to have to be really invested. And you're going to have to deal with a lot of people who will receive from you that can't appreciate who you are. But at the end of the day, you're going to look up, you're going to build a legacy, and you're going to have had an impact in your community. Life is going to sit up and put these demands. The problem is most people never move past the barrier of the counter demand. Most people want it, but they don't want the process. I tell people all the time, process always precedes the prize. Process always precedes the promise. You don't get the promise or the prize of your potential without executing your potential through processes that are challenging, processes that are at times painful, processes that will pull you to the very edges of your sanity. But it's necessary to develop the character and integrity that is utmost important in doing what you need to do in this world the right way. The process prepares you, but most people want to balk at the process. Most people want it handed to them. We live in a world of entitlement. You don't get it that way. You get it by producing something through resilience, through endurance, through consistency. You develop a level of expertise in something by doing the same thing. And when you develop a level of expertise, you have something within you that can solve a problem that people need solved. And there is your way of earning. Businesses are simply the ability to identify a problem and provide a solution at a price. That's all a business is when you simplify it. But you've got to understand that you have to have the capacity to solve the problem. Now you got to work out the schematics, you got to work out the strategy, the logistics, and whatever else that's going to be required for you to do it. But that's the bottom line. How does my skill set or my knowledge or my expertise or my gift create a solution to a problem out there? But here's the one thing, again, back to thoughts. Your thoughts are so powerful that they will lock you down. You can't do that. What are you thinking? Who in your family has ever done that? Where have you ever seen anybody like you do that? That's not for you. You belong over here doing this. That's about all you'll ever do. If I could count the times I heard that growing up, not necessarily aimed at me, but teachers actually telling kids, what you'll probably end up doing is, how in the hell you gonna tell me what I'm gonna end up doing? Who are you to decide what I'm capable of? but we have people out there. And that's one of the reasons why we got to be careful of how we handle our children. But now, if we're adults, we have the ability to go back to every last time somebody told us we can't and re-examine it. We have the ability to sit up and say, you know what? They told me I couldn't do this. But I'm watching a lot of people doing it. I don't see them being any different than me. What's different? Why can they do it and I can't? Let me go back and look at this. And you find out, yeah, it's going to take some work. Yes, it's going to take some discipline. Yes, it's going to be some sacrifices. But guess what? I can do it. The moment you tell yourself I can and you take that first step, the world opens up. Providence begins to move. Things that you never even thought were possible are starting to happen. People that you have been around you for months and you've waved at them as you passed them in the office or passed them at Starbucks or passed them wherever. And now all of a sudden you take that first step and they say, hey, you know what? I see you in here every day and I speak to you, but I never stop. What do you do? And then you start talking. He said, you know what? I got a friend who does blah, 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 blah. Man, I need to connect you to Providence. But you got to take the step. You know how many people are hiding behind the wall of fear and the answer's on the other side of the wall? Just like Will Smith said, God placed everything worth having on the other side of fear. But I believe it's bigger than that. He placed everything worth having on the other side of fear and pain. We don't like discomfort. But what you need is on the other side of discomfort. You're going to have to go through it to have it. Most people sit up and say, you know what, now I'm going to sink back into this comfort. I'm going to balk at the idea of greatness, and I'm going to take mediocrity because mediocrity isn't as painful. But it is. You just don't experience the pain the later. See, mediocrity, you get to your later years and you start looking for things that are fulfilling about the life you live, and you can't go back and search anything because you balked at every opportunity to change your life, and by changing your life, change the world around you. And you're going to get there. I have watched people being in the field that I am in, both in spirituality and in human behavior. I've been on the deathbeds of many people, on the side of deathbeds of many people, and I've watched people who have lived their lives to the fullest with the peace that they have. People who know and have shared with me that they wish they would have, they wish they could have. They're wondering if they've left anything lasting. And that's fear and of what's going on the other side. The thing is, I don't believe they have anything to fear, but they do. They die in a state of anxiety and fear. The very pain that they were trying to avoid living their lives, they experience at the end in a way that they can never change it. See, if you go through pain now, you can recover from it. You go through pain now, you can get strong from it. You go through pain now, you can become bigger and more powerful and more effective through it. It's doing something. You can't go in the gym and not feel some sort of discomfort and think you've gained anything. This transformational process for me physically of getting back in shape meant being in discomfort physically. It meant having to make way and time for what I needed to do, not just in the gym, but how I was going to manage my eating, which is a big part of it, and a bunch of other things. I had to make changes. The things that I absolutely love were the things that were killing me. I had to drop fried food altogether. I had to drop sugar altogether. I am a heavy, avid sweet tea drinker. Haven't had it. Why? That was killing me. What am I getting? You have to make up in your mind what you really want, because sometimes we have developed bad habits, poor habits along the way that we've actually used as way of escaping. A lot of us eat as a coping mechanism and don't even realize it. Some of us eat when we're sad. Some of us eat when we're happy. Some eat when we're stressed out and worried. Some eat because we just enjoy it. It's literally an activity for some. It's like, man, I'm, excited about eating because that's the part of the day they love the most, and don't realize that, we've taken everything out of context. We've made things be what they're not, and it's costing us. I had to sit up and go, how do you go from this person to being what I saw in that picture in my daughter's birthday last September? How did I get there? Well, then how do I get back? And I made up in my mind, I'm gonna do it. I'm almost at 50 pounds lost in roughly a little over 10 months. And my goal was 50 pounds. I'm definitely going to hit that by the time her birthday comes around, which will make a year on September the 18th. I'm probably going to be under it, and then looking at how I'm going to work and build and do whatever after that. But it's commitment. because what had I done? With a background in fitness and health, I'm telling myself, well, it's just my metabolism is slowed down. I'm over 50 now. It's just got this, and then you start looking at guys over 50 and saying, man, we all kind of got this little thing going on, like this here. But I was like way overweight. And so then I had to sit up around and I started seeing guys who were over 50 that were ripped. Well, if he's going to be ripped, then I'm coming for it. I'm not going to sit here, and I made up in my mind, I'm not going to go into 55, which was July 25th. I'm not going into 55 looking like that. Change of thinking, change of thoughts, change of what I expect from myself. You never get anything beyond what you expect for yourself. It's that simple. You are never going to get anything beyond what you expect for yourself. So my challenge is to you, search your thinking first and foremost. What are you focusing on? Whatever you focus on, you feel. If you focus on the problem becomes so big eventually that you don't have a clue, and it overwhelms you. It creates anxiety. It creates stress. Eventually, that stress becomes chronic stress. Why? Because you're constantly focusing on it. And when you have a stressful situation, the body automatically responds with the stress response, which we call the fight or flight. What that means is the adrenal gland right over the kidney starts to produce adrenaline and cortisol. That cortisol in your bloodstream in short bursts is wonderful. If you're trying to fight, if you're trying to run, if you're trying to do something athletic, or you whatever, in burst over time, constantly in your system, because you're constantly stressing, it's attacking your heart, your liver, your kidneys, your pancreas, your thyroid. Then it's turning around and at the same time attacking your autoimmune system. And people are wondering why they're sick. When someone say, they're worried sick or they're worried to death, that's real. The crazy thing about it is when you do the research and you actually look at what stuff that people are worried about and you really break that down, you come to find out that 60% of what people worry about never happens. Another 20% has already happened. So we down to 80, we down to 20% now of stuff that's out there that deserves any attention. But when you break it down, a bunch of the stuff we're worrying about isn't big enough to be stressed about. So you get down to roughly about 6 to 8% of what we worry about is something we really need to be concerned with. What if we really actually only focused on that, and all that other stuff we're worried about, we let go and gave that energy into finding the solutions for the 8% of issues that we really need to deal with? How more effective in our lives will we be? This is what I do with my clients. It's about getting out of your own way to achieve the things that are going to really be beneficial to you and important to you. And for every person, it's different. But that's the thing that we're not doing. We are not getting out of our own way. We have thought processes that limit us. That's why that crushing limiting beliefs course is so powerful. But I'm telling you, me personally, I would actually go for the course bundle. Those 4 courses are life-changing. One of them is life-changing, and all 4 of them are bundled together for less than the cost of one. I would definitely jump on that. But if you just want to jump on the crushing limiting beliefs course, do that. But whatever you need to do, whether you don't get anything, I'm still going to be here on a regular basis, giving you love, sharing some things with you, hoping to help you change what it is that's going on that you don't like, help you create the things you do want, show you how to get it done. Here is the thing. If you don't take action, nothing happens. That's the guarantee. If you don't make a move, nothing happens. That is the guarantee. I have helped people start businesses. I have helped people recover from trauma. I have helped people deal with loss. I have helped people reconstruct their self-image. One of the most important things you're going to do in life is examine who you are and how you see yourself in the world. A lot of the things you think you can't do and a lot of things you're afraid of is because of how you see yourself. Somewhere along the line, your label givers early in life didn't serve you well. They didn't tell you how strong you were, how powerful you were, how exceptional you are, how capable you are, how beautiful you are, how smart you are. And what you did is you bought into the environment around you that was telling you you were small, that you didn't matter, that you couldn't make it, that there was something wrong with you, that you would never be like some of the people you aspire to or you admire or you look up to. You're not them. And then you bought into it. And when you bought into it, you shrank into that identity that you bought into. And you'll never come out of it until you change it. You'll never come out of that identity until you decide that's not who I am. And you start to build. And I help people do that. It is the most fulfilling work I could ever tell you. It's not easy, but it's fulfilling. I wake up every day excited about what's going to happen in that day because somebody's going to be blessed. Somebody's going to be encouraged. Somebody's going to be inspired. Somebody's going to be set on fire. That is my passion. That's what I fight for. That's what I live for. I'm challenging you now to make today the day that you do something, that you take a step, that you make a move, that you invest in yourself in some kind of way. If it's not in any of my programs or working with me, find a way to invest yourself. If it's nothing to sit up and say, I'm taking 2 hours and I'm going down to the library and I'm finding the most encouraging book or informative book on what I'm passionate about in that library, and I'm checking it out, and I'm going to go home and read the first chapter. I read every day. It's what ensures that I grow, and it ensures that I don't go to sleep as the same man who woke up. Now, my challenge to you is that you do the same. Find a way to love on yourself by making yourself better, by challenging yourself to become stronger, by setting goals that challenge you. What's my favorite quote of all time? That if the vision that you have for your life isn't so huge that it intimidates you, there's a good chance it's insulting God. Let's say that one more time. If the vision that you have for your life isn't so huge that it intimidates you, there's a good chance it's insulting God. It means you're not aiming high enough, that you're not stretching yourself. You're not expanding yourself. You're playing it close. You're playing it safe. You're being comfortable. You're leaving way too much potential on the table. Stop. The world needs you to shine. The world needs you to get up and be everything God designed you to be. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be something that you wake up and you just prance through. But let me tell you something. Sometimes it's when you're going through them storms that you're blessing people and you don't even know it. I've had people come to me who knew I was going through things and watched me. I've had a person tell me, I watched you and it made me have to step my faith game up. The person was a wife of a pastor. Somebody I'm looking up to thinking, man, that's faith right there. She's looking at me. There's no way you're supposed to be where you're at smiling and serving. But see, I knew something about myself that a lot of other people I obviously didn't know. I'm built for it. You're not going to break me with circumstances. There's something in my spirit that disagrees with negative circumstances. There's something in my spirit connected to the Most High that says, bring it. I ain't asking for trouble, but if you want smoke, I got it. And I'm not stopping until I take my last breath. So bring it. Heartache, pain, loss, I can take it. Disruptions, interruptions in my business, I can take it. People hating on me because they don't like the way I move, I can take it. What I can't take is being anything less than God designed me to be. That's the one thing I will not die and it be said of me is I didn't live my life on full. Here's my challenge to you. Get out there. Take on life. Head on. You're going to get some bumps and bruises. You're going to get knocked down. Get up. If you're still breathing, you're still in the fight. Somebody needs to see you shine so they have permission to shine. Bring people and lift people as you rise. You won't even understand the power and the impact you'll have on the world when your faith becomes contagious. On that note, look, I'm gonna get ready to get out here. I hope to be hearing from some of you guys who want to work with me, or some of you guys who want to get some of the stuff that we're offering. Like I said, we're moving into expansion. September 1st marks a big change in how we move and how we deliver what we do. And I'm excited about it. But in the meantime, I'm throwing stuff out there. I'm trying to get everybody who can a chance to get at this stuff before it's elevated in price, and it's all justifiable. Trust me, I've never charged the price that the product wasn't worth. You always get more from me than what you pay, but I'm telling you that that's where it's going. In order for me to do what I need to do, I've got to take it to the next level. But I'm having a ball getting there, and I want you to take control of your life starting today. On that note, I'm gonna get ready to get out of here. Hopefully I'll see you a little bit later with something else, but if not, I'll see you tomorrow. You guys have an unbelievable day. Walk out there in the power of who you are. Walk out there in knowing that God never in eternity created mediocre. And you are from God. You are literally from God. And God doesn't produce mediocrity. So what you've been producing isn't a fraction of what you're capable of doing. I'm challenging you to walk in it. On that note, I'm out of here, and you guys have an unbelievable day.